Hey everyone, it's Jamie, and in the first of my 8 topics for you on reboot and reflecting related to distance learning, we're going to start with connecting with students. So I have 8 ideas for you. And again, I learned some of these from a conference I went to this weekend with some Stanford teachers at their online high school, and others are from some research I've done and then reflecting on the last couple of months. Okay, so here are the ideas. The first one, this one, some of you did in the spring. It was awesome. So we're calling this a cafe doc. And this is, again, a way that students can feel like they can get help, get support, and also just, when you're in class and there are a lot of kids on the screen, it might feel hard for them to ask for help. Everybody's feeling judged or under pressure. It's a lot of stress. So this way would really give a good, safe space for kids to ask questions. So I made a sample for you. So this is what it looks like. The doc says, let me make that a little bit larger. This is to help as a back channel or a space to ask questions and answers, get support. Students, feel free to post questions you have and also answer any questions you might be able to help with. Welcome to the Q&A Cafe. I just made that up. I found the cute graphic on Pixabay, and there it is for you. So here are some samples. A student can ask, when does the intro paragraph due and how long does it have to be? Another student might answer with the details. What was that resource for having Google Docs help with the Works Cited page? And then there's the link. And then does anyone have any ideas for how to study for the next vocab quiz? Again, you could totally prep this and give them some ideas of how they could use it. But this could be something that your like go-getter students have as like a class job to help out a little bit if you've been doing class jobs, or, just encourage the shy kids to participate this way. If you have participation points and they're just not being able to do it in class, this may be another option. So I love this idea of a cafe doc, just an informal way to get help. The next one. Okay, so I met with the Tech Council kids a couple weeks ago. We started that up again this year at the high school for 9th through 12th graders. And they are all hungry to learn more about you. They talk about missing those times where everybody shared personal stories. And I know this is hard with, cutting down on how much class time we have, but the kids are missing you. So I have some ideas. You can do it where it's like you pick a day of the week and you ask a fun question like, Lindsay, David, and I, when we go into class, we have to build class culture so fast because when we're teaching in person in your classrooms, we only have a small amount of time to kind of get to know kids and break down that barrier so they trust us a little bit. So I've done this with these types of questions. Tell me your name story. What is your favorite toy as a kid? What's the first thing you remember wanting to be when you grew up? What would your superpower be? Any of those, like if you share your side of it and a few kids start talking about it, this could be a way to, again, open up those connections, make discussion something that's very low level in terms of feeling threatened, and get kids talking. So again, go for those wins. This is a, maybe you save these when everything's not working in your class and you bring this out. I'm sure your kids will love it and getting to know you a little bit, and it'll also help you get to know the kids a little bit. I also linked this really great website that has 40 weird questions to kind of ask your kids. I think this will be another great place. Again, this could be that hip pocket thing when things aren't working. I love this one. What are 5 things you would take with you during the zombie apocalypse and why? So awesome. Really good. And again, these can be done in the chat. So you could post one in the chat, have everybody respond. And the part that what the kids also told me they're missing is they love hearing their name. So when kids are posting in the chat, find ways to call out like, oh, thanks, Amanda, for that answer. That was amazing. Like those are those little victories, and they suddenly their attention comes back to you when they hear your name, when they hear you say their name. The other thing is, as they're coming into class saying their name, the kids also mentioned that the teachers are doing this. They love it. I know this sounds silly, but it is a big deal to them. They miss seeing you at the front door and of your classroom and saying their name as they come in. So see if you can replicate this when your classes are opening. I know the kids will appreciate it, and the Tech Council kids mentioned that they're missing this. A couple of things I heard from the Stanford teachers this weekend, when they're talking to the kids, they say things like, I want you to be here and show up and try, and just letting the kids know you care, that you're not expecting perfection, but you just want to see effort. I don't think we can say that enough. So again, this gets hard to kind of do online, but saying this, the Stanford teachers reported, had a really big impact on their students. And then one that I really love, and if you call me on the phone, this is the first thing I'll say to you, is how can I help you? And some of you know exactly the help that you need. But when I reflected on this for students, they may not know how to get help, or they may not know what help they need. So a way to extend this to students could be something like, the ways to get help from me are, here are my office hours, here's my email, check out the cafe Q&A doc. Don't forget to email your counselor. If you need tech help, here's how you get it. If you're struggling in this, have you tried paper.co? So again, you may have to offer some solutions for them in terms of it. But again, phrasing things like show up and try or how can I help you will be really great. And then turning the corner, we're on to 6, 7, 8 and email check-ins. Okay, this is something that can really go a long way to show kids that you're caring about them. Again, I know you are, and the amount of time and effort you're putting into everything, I have to believe it will never be this hard again, right? Once we get through this. But sending out an email to students to let them know that you're just checking in on them can go a long way. The kids are using email more. They're relying on this to connect to you. And there are some really cool hacks to make this easier. So you can use a tool called Formule. This is an add-on in Google Sheets, and it makes it look like you're sending personalized emails to everyone. So you could actually set up something, for example, we could export out everybody's birthdays in your class on a Google Sheet from Aries. We can set up Formule to automatically email your students a personalized note on their birthdays. Like, how ridiculous would that be that they would think you remembered their birthday? So again, there are some really cool ways to use tech to connect with students and just really make them know how much you care, because you care so much. It's just a matter of like, how do we show it to them in a new way when we can't be there physically? Okay, the last two are really talking about our struggling students and really trying to take care of them. So I found this really good article on Edutopia, and it talks a lot about promoting student agency. And again, there are a lot of really good ideas here. So counselors, if you're hanging out on this doc, I think you'll see some things in here that are good. But even for our teachers, we're having meetings with students and parents, right? And one part I liked on here that was really cool was starting with a win in the meeting for a student. And you probably already do this, but again, I just think the reminder is so great that this will lower the barrier for the students when they're in the meeting, because you have to realize they're probably feeling like they're in trouble or they're under attack, or this is so hard for them. They're so far behind in your class. Like, they probably think you hate them and that, they feel guilty and they feel like they're disappointing you. So when you can open up with something that they've done well, I think you're going to see them come around and feel like you guys are on a team together. Okay, so that doc has tons of ideas, but again, I love that idea. And then the last one, this one came up from the Stanford teachers. I just thought it was amazing. So they talked about how, again, their environment is a bunch of students that applied to be at an online school, so they knew what they were getting into. But they said that doesn't change that it doesn't work for everyone, and sometimes life circumstances get really challenging. And also, they're in the middle of a pandemic as well, so students struggle. So what they talked about is they make concessions with the students who are struggling just to get them back on track. One of the things they suggested is really focusing on the assignments that are due now, because the ones from so long ago are just hard to get caught up on. So they try to, like, again, the small victories, the small wins, so kids can start to see that change is happening in the grade book and they feel like they're going to survive and make it through it. But one thing they said that was so great is they said, if you make a concession or you make some sort of deal with a student about, okay, all I need you to do is do these 5 assignments and then you're going to be okay, like, record that in an email and send it back to the student just so you have a record and you don't have to try to remember, because you might be making like these custom concessions or deals with students based on their need, which is amazing. And you don't want to have to try to remember the ins and outs of that. Okay, so those are my tips for you. The cafe doc, sharing some fun and personal stories with questions, saying everybody's names, some phrases that just show that you kind of care, helping them get the help they need, perhaps doing this email check-in hack and using Formule. If this sounds interesting to you, email me or David, and we will show you how to do it. It is really, really cool. And then 7 and 8 are really about taking care of our struggling students. Okay, I'm going to start recording the next session. I hope this helps for you. And please send me any questions that you have to me.